Okay, so let's go to an example to illustrate, okay, our discussion on a balance, okay, three-phase fault. So we have here a little bit simple power, okay, network where we have two generators, okay, supplying, okay, a load, no, in the system. So we have generator 1, which is solidly grounded, okay, with MVA rating of 20, uh, and then voltage rating of 13.8 kV, and then okay, XD double prime, no, sub-transient, okay, reactance XD double prime equal to 0.10 per unit. So meaning, okay, in this problem, we will be considering the condition, okay, that we want to obtain, no, probably, okay, the fault currents and the voltages, sequence voltages, okay, sequence currents, okay, at the point of fault, no, at the instant, okay, the short circuit happens. So that's why at the instant the short circuit happens, we will be using the sub-transient, okay, reactance XD, no, of the generator to be our positive sequence reactance, no, of our generators. Okay, so we learned before that for generators, our positive sequence reactance X1 can take either XD double prime or XD prime, which is the transient reactance of our generator, or we can use XD, which is the synchronous reactance of our generator. Okay, so this time we are interested, okay, at the fault uh, current, now when at the instant when the short circuit happens. So in the same way also, generator 2 having an MVA rating of 10 MVA and voltage rating of 13.8, okay, is also represented by its sub-transient reactance XD double prime, okay, equal to 0.08, okay, per unit. Now take note that this sub-transient reactance is XD, okay, double prime of our generator. For example, this one for generator 1. Okay, this one is computed, okay, based on the MB rating of our generator 1, which is 20. Now for generator 2, this XD double prime 0.08 per unit also, but this is computed, okay, based on the MVA rating of our generator to 10 MVA. Okay, now generator 1, okay, has a transformer T1 to step up its voltage, okay, from 13.8 to 138. So we have T1 here with the MVA rating of 30 MVA, and okay, the voltage rating of, okay, 13 point kV connected Y and 138 kV connected Y. And we have, okay, the reactance of transformer 1 based on its own MVA rating as equal to 0.04, okay, per unit. Now generator 2 also has a transformer T2 to step up its voltage, okay, from 13.8, okay, to 138 kV also. But its MVA rating is 20 with voltage rating of 13 point kV Y connected at okay, the low voltage side, and 138 kV Y connected at its high voltage side. And its reactance based on its MVA rating is, okay, 0.06, okay, per unit. Now between the 138 kV bus, okay, C, okay, we have a transmission line, okay, to point D, no, or bus D, where the transmission line is represented only by its reactance value, which is equal to G8 ohms. So this is the actual value of the reactance of the line. Okay, its resistance is, okay, neglected in this case. And then at the end of the transmission line, okay, we have transformer 3, okay, with MVA rating of 50 and voltage rating of 100 kV Y connected, and secondary of 69 kV also Y connected. And then, okay, the reactance okay, of the transformer T3 is equal to 0.08, okay, per unit. Now, notice that in the example, okay, we have only, okay, the positive sequence value of reactances, no, of our generators, transformers, or okay, transmission lines. Okay, there is no mention of the negative sequence values nor the zero sequence, okay, values, no, of the components of our, okay, system, because we are, okay, only considering, okay, a three-phase fault in this case. And okay, the negative sequence and the zero sequence components or reactances do not enter into our calculation for a three-phase, okay, faults. So three-phase fault occurs at bus E when the voltage, okay, at bus E, okay, is equal to 0.98 per unit, no, meaning it is 0.98 times 69, so that's the actual value of the voltage at bus E, no, where the fault, okay, occurs, represented by F. So we have to calculate, okay, the subtransient fault current at bus E, uh, okay. Okay, in amperes. Okay, meaning we have to get the actual current, full current, no, at bus E, okay, in amperes. And then letter B, okay, the full current contribution of each generator. So the full current contribution of each generator, okay, both in per unit and, okay, the actual. And then letter C, we have to, okay, compute for the generator, okay, bus voltages, okay, in kV. So meaning, okay, we are going to get not the value of the bus voltages at bus A and bus B. So both also in per unit and actual, because okay, we cannot get the actual unless we solve first, okay, the per unit, okay, value. So for the solution, okay, we draw the positive sequence impedance, okay, diagram. So for our generator 1, okay, we have here, okay, EG1, okay, representing, okay, the phase voltage, okay, of generator 1, and then it's, okay, positive sequence, okay, subtransient reactance XD1 double prime. And then we have here bus A, and we have transformer X1, represented by JX1, okay, for transformer 1 connected between A and C. And then similarly for generator B, we have to represent, okay, its generated voltage as EG2, and then in series with its subtransient reactance JX, okay, D2 double prime, okay, then up to bus B. Then between bus B and bus C, we have, okay, to represent, okay, transformer 2, okay, with its equivalent reactance, okay, JX2. And then now we have here, okay, the transmission line where we have the actual reactance of J8 ohms. And then between D and E, we have, okay, transformer 3 with represented by the reactance, okay, JX3. And then we have here the fault current, okay, at the short circuit point, no, and we just call this as IF, okay, double prime, no, meaning, okay, the fault current, okay, in the subtransient, okay, condition. Okay, now to simplify our impedance, okay, diagram, okay, we have to calculate, okay, the reactances of the generators and transformers, and also the transmission line. okay, to a common MBE base, no, so that we can combine them, okay, together. Okay, so we choose, okay, each base to be equal to 50 MBA, which is, okay, the capacity of transformer 3, no, 50 MBA as, okay, the largest. Now, in choosing the MBA base, it is a good, okay, practice that if there are several, okay, generators and transformers, okay, and some of them have the same capacity. For example, there are 10, okay, generators, and then there are 5 generators that have capacity ratings of 500 MVA. So it is better to choose an MVA base, common MVA base, okay, based on the largest number of MBA ratings, you know, of the unit, okay, that have the same rating. So choosing 500 MBA, okay, would lessen our calculation of changing the, okay, reactances of those 5, okay, generators, okay, because, okay, the choosing MBA is already their capacity rating, so no need for a conversion, okay, of their reactances, okay, to, okay, based on the new MBA base. Okay, so in this case, uh, well, okay, supposedly, okay, it would be good if we have to choose MBA, okay, for a generator 1 because it has capacity of 20, and also T2 has a capacity of 20, then, okay, we could have at least, okay, save, okay, 2 calculations for new reactances, no? However, in this example, we are told to use, okay, the largest MBA capacity, okay, which is the capacity rating of transformer 3. Well, anyway, okay, it will just result to the same, okay, thing, no? So after choosing our common MBA base, we can now compute the new per unit reactances, no, based on our formula that the new per unit value would be equal to the given per unit value of Z or reactances, okay, times the ratio of the new MBA base, okay, to the given MBA base, and times, okay, the square of the ratio of the kV voltage base given, okay, to the kV voltage base new, no? So this is our formula for a conversion of impedances or reactances. Okay, for G1, therefore, okay, it's XD1, okay, double prime nu would be equal to, okay, the given value which was, okay, 0.1, and we multiply this by, okay, the new MVA base, which is 50, okay, divided by 20 MVA, where this value is obtained, and then multiply this by the voltage rating of our generator, which is 13.8, okay, over 13.8 squared. So we have XD1 double prime nu equal to 0.25, okay, per unit. And for G2, okay, we compute its XD double prime nu as, okay, the given value 0.08, and then we multiply this 50, and then the capacity rating of our generator 2, which is 10, where this value of reactance is based. Then times the okay, ratio of the voltage of the generator, which is the same, no, 13.8 over 13.8 squared. So we get, okay, XD double prime nu equal to 0.4 per unit. Now for transformer 1, okay, its new per unit value would be equal to the given, which is 0.04, okay, times the ratio of the new MVA, which is 50, then to the given MVA of 30, and then we use, okay, the low voltage side of transformer T1, 13.8 over 13.8. So the new value of X1 of T1 is equal to, okay, 0.066, okay, per unit. And for T2, it's a new value of reactance is equal to 0.06, okay, which is given, and then times the ratio of the new MBA base 50 to okay, the MBA rating of transformer 2, where this value of reactance is based. Okay, and again using we use here the high voltage side. So when we use the high voltage side of the transformer, okay, we also use okay the in the numerator or given, okay, it would be the same as in the new. So 138 over 138 squared. So we have here 0.15 okay per unit. So as we see here, no, for transformers, okay, you can use either voltage side, no, whether the low voltage side, which is okay, this one for T1, and you use the high voltage side for T2. It should be the same, no? And then for transformer 3, its new value of reactance is equal to its given value. Okay, and there is no conversion here because okay, our new MBA base is 50 and its MBA rating also is 50, so we just have one. So the same value of okay reactance, no, of transformer T3, which is 0.08. Okay, no change. Now for the transmission line, we have to obtain first its base impedance, which is okay, kV base line to line squared divided by MBE base, okay, 3-phase. So 1 kV line to line is 138, then squared divided by MBE base, which is 50. So we have 380.88 ohms as the base impedance, no, at the 138 circuit, kV circuit. So therefore, the impedance of the line and per unit, it would just be equal to G8 over Z base, which is equal to G8 over 380.88, or this is equal to J.021 per unit. Now, redrawing the impedance diagram that okay, we have now reflecting the new values of our reactances. Okay, we have this. Okay, so for a generator 1, okay, we still have this generated voltage per phase, and then its reactance is now equal to J.25, and this is the reactance of T1, new reactance. T1, then for generator 2, okay, its new reactance is 0.4, and for T2, its new reactance is 0.15. And then for the transmission line, this is now represented by its per unit value, which is 0.021. And transformer 3 is represented by its reactance, which is the same as okay, the original, so it's equal to J.08. And this is our okay, voltage point F. And the current here will be equal to our IF, okay, double prime, okay, for subtransient, okay, current. So this is now our impedance diagram. Okay, now take note when we have just this okay grounds, it is understood that we have connection here, no, between these two grounds. So we get the equivalent impedance across okay bus E and the ground. Okay, by shorting the voltage sources EG1 and EG2. So we now get the total impedance okay of the network okay between F and the reference ground. Okay, so by Thevenin's theorem, okay, we have to short okay the voltage sources here and combine the impedances. So take note that these two are in series and these two are in series, these two are in series. So our okay our network is reduced okay to this value, no, with the voltage sources okay shorted. So we have okay the two impedances along generator 1, and we have here the reactances along generator 2, and we have the reactances okay along the line and transformer 3, no, between okay bus E, where we have here the fault okay faulted point. Okay, now so we combine this, and this is equal to 0.316. We combine this and we have 0.55, and we combine this, so we have 0.101. Now these two are in parallel, so the value is equal to J point to 0, and this one you have still that, and these two now are in a series, and we can combine this together, and the total is now J.301. So this is now our Z1 positive sequence impedance of the whole network with respect to the faulted point now, which is bus E. Okay, so this is now our simplified uh, equivalent positive sequence network now, where our ZTH here is just equal to that, the total reactance of the line, and BTH of course is the voltage generated per phase, because we have a positive sequence voltage. Now, so when E is shorted, because our positive sequence equivalent sequence network is this, so we short the terminals at bus E, no, and with respect to ground. So we have short circuit current flowing here, which is our IF. So IF double prime here will just equal to this BTH divided by this ZTH, or we can just call this a Z1, no, positive sequence impedance with respect to bus E. Now the BTH that we will use here is the pre-fault value of the voltage at bus E, no, because we are given that at the point of fault, the actual value of the voltage at bus E is 0.98 per unit. So therefore, at bus E, our subtransient current IF double prime is equal to BA at pre-fault divided by ZTH, or just C1, which is equal to 0.98, the value of our voltage divided by our Z1 or ZTH, which is 0.301. So we have short circuit current IF double prime equal to 3.256, an angle of 90 degrees per unit. Now to get the actual value of the full current at bus E, we have to solve the base current, which is equal to the base MVA 3 phase divided by square root of 3 times the bus voltage, no, the base voltage line to line. So our base MVA is 50, and square root of 3 times base voltage at bus E is 69 kV. So dividing, we have 418.37 amperes as the base current. So therefore, our IF actual would just be equal to the per unit value of 3.256 times 418.37. So this is equal to 1,362.2 amperes. So that's the value of the fault current, three-phase fault current at bus bus E. No. Then the fault current contribution of each generator will be considered now. So again, going back to one of our reductions now of the impedance diagram, where we have the combined reactance of generator and transformer 1 as this, and then this one as the combined reactance of generator 2 and P2, and then we have the line here, which is actually also carries the full current IF double prime, and this is our ground or reference node. So this IG1 force will be the current coming from generator 1, and this IG2 here would be the current coming from our generator 2. So by current division, Okay, to solve for IA1, so meaning to solve for the current here, well, we know that the current here will just be proportional to the impedance on the other side. So which is 0.55, okay, divided by the sum. So we add 0.316 and this 0.55, okay, times the total current that flows here. Now times IF double prime. So substituting, okay, we have IG1 double prime equal to 2.0679 at an angle of 90 degrees, okay, per unit, no, per unit. And then our IG2, okay, the current here will be proportional to the impedance on the other side, so we have, okay, J.316, then divided by the sum, okay, and substituting IF double prime, we get IG2 equal to 1.188 at an angle of 90 degrees. So these are the current contributions of the two generators, okay, to the fault. Now, to get the actual, we have to get first the base current, okay, at generator 1. So, the base current at generator 1 would be equal to is base 3 phase over square root of 3 times the base voltage line to line. Okay, substituting, okay, the values, okay, our 50 MVA is written in terms of kVA, so we have 50,000, and then square root of 3 times the base voltage, which is 13.8 kV, now at the voltage generator voltage level. So I base current is 2091.85. So therefore, IG1 would be equal to the per unit value, okay, times the base current of 2.09185. So IG1, okay, double prime is equal to 4,325.75 amperes. Now, the base current at generator 2 would be the same formula that we have there is 50,000, okay, kV, and then square root of 3, okay, divided by 13.8, so it's the same as in generator 1, so 2091.85. And the actual value of the current supplied by generator 2 at the subtransient condition would be equal to the per unit value, which is 1.185, okay, times the base current of 2091.85. So the actual current, okay, generated or supplied by generator 2 is 2085.1, okay, amperes. Okay, now the generator bus, okay, voltages. So again, we go back to the original, okay, or the basic or the first impedance diagram, okay, that we drew, no, for this, okay, network. So we have okay, generator 1, and then we have bus A, and then we have transformer 1, and so on. Okay, so we are asked to determine, okay, the voltage between bus A with respect to ground, of course, no, and bus B with respect to ground. So our bus voltage BA, okay, this voltage here, okay, will just be equal to the generated voltage, okay, excuse me, uh, B sub A, okay, would just be, by the way, no, because we are not, okay, given the voltage here of our generator. Okay, we are only given, okay, the actual voltage at the point of fault. So therefore, okay, we have to calculate, okay, B sub A, okay, using, okay, this information, okay, at the fault point. Now, so B sub A, therefore, okay, will just be equal to the impedance drop here, which is, okay, J 0.66 times IG1 double prime, and then plus the impedance drop here, which is the current flowing here is the same as the current here, no? Actually, the sum of the fault current from generator 1 and the generator 2. So we just use IF double prime. Okay, so the voltage drop here up to point E is this impedance plus this impedance. okay, times IF, and then plus, of course, okay, we have B sub E, no? Because, okay, our voltage has to be measured, okay, with respect to ground. So our bus E actually is from this point, okay, to the ground. So this voltage drop plus B sub E, no? Measured, okay, from, okay, the ground. Okay, so substituting the values for the fault currents here, and then at for B sub E we have 0.98 at an angle of 0, no, the actual, okay, voltage at the point of fault. And then simplifying, we are able to obtain, we have all the same angle 0, so we have 1.445, okay, per unit, no, at an angle of 0, or just this real value. So therefore, okay, the actual value of the bus voltage at A, no, when there was fault at bus E, okay, would be equal to 1.445 times 13.8 kV, so it is 19.94, okay, kV. Okay, so that's the actual value of the bus voltage at bus A. And at bus B, we also do the same. So uh, bus B would be equal to the voltage drop across transformer 2, and then plus the voltage drop along the line and transformer 3 times okay, IF plus, okay, B sub E. Okay, and then substituting the values, we have, okay, B sub B equal to 1.487, okay, per unit, and multiplying this by the base voltage, which is 13.8. So the actual, okay, bus voltage at bus B is equal to 20.52